as we get the link out for everybody. So those of you that are watching afterwards, the real episode will start here in about 3 minutes, but this gives me a chance to get the Google Hangout link up on our page. So those of you watching now, we'll start the episode here in about 3 minutes. Let's get into my videos here.
I am sending.
There it was. Awesome. And I'm sending you the link on Facebook now. And just put on there, we'll be live in 2 minutes.
Okay. All right, Dennis is going to be our first guest. He's so excited. He wanted to come on before, and things just didn't work.
Cool.
I messaged
Does he have
everybody
something
else.
specific he wants to talk about?
Oh, he said he would talk with any row it is. He has something to say about every single thing, and whatever time he comes on, he'll use that to choose
Cool.
what he's talking about, whatever you're talking about.
The first thing we're going to really get into is this breakdown of the stereotypes, which we'll talk about that when we get started. We're not going to go into a whole lot because people are watching right now.
Yeah,
possibly.
it turns out the one guy, he's not from Chicago. He is from Calumet City, which is literally over the tracks from us.
Cool. We're about 30 seconds away here. If you're tuning in, we're starting in about 30 seconds. Just wanted to give people time to click on the link, and we'll get this party started. Again, for anybody that's messaging during the episode, it's best to message Susan because she watches Facebook and stuff more. I'll say that about more. I'm kind of more into my notes and whoever's on the air. Just waiting for that clock to hit 9, and we'll get started here. It looks like wine, but it's only grape juice.
Oh, it's Wednesday. I'm ready for wine, though.
I should have. I have some Rolling Rock in the fridge. I should have busted out.
Ooh. I'm really into the apple beer right now.
All right, here we go. Coming to you live from Conroe, Texas, it is Reality Rules with Andrew Gibson and producer Mama S. What's going on, guys? We had a great premiere episode tonight. I know you watched, I watched, Susan watched. We got 18 new great castaways. We had a tie in the very first episode. Susan, what'd you think about that premiere?
I liked it. I think I like all the players. I'm not sure who I like yet. I mean, it's day one. Day one's so exciting. By the third episode, we'll all have our favorites, our least favorites, and more thoughts on it, I think.
I have some favorites already, and we're going to get that down today. We're going to talk about who we like, who we don't like, who's awesome, who's not. We're going to go player by player, tribe by tribe, and really break down this first episode for you today. At the end, we've got some awesome announcements of some other things coming up with Reality Rules and other things that I'm excited about, Susan's excited about. If you want to be a guest today on our episode at any point in time, message Susan on Facebook. She'll be giving out the Google Hangout link. Don't message me as much because I'm kind of more in the episode. She's checking our Facebook messages. She's checking the posts. She's checking the pages. So if you want to get involved tonight or any night at all, just message Susan at any point in time. So we've got that going on. We also have our fantasy contest going on right now, which is always fun. We're doing it a little different this season. Last year's winners were, Susan will be right back and she'll remind me because I've already forgot.
Last year's winner were Shannon and Devon. Devon, I sent out his gift card that he won over the weekend, and Shannon and I made a little arrangement about her winnings.
Yeah, they had a you won, got you one kind of thing.
I won her game, she won this, so we called it even.
fair and square. So if you want to get involved in our fantasy pick tonight, we're going to be doing it different this year. Throughout the night, Susan will be posting the names of the different castaways that are going on. The first person to post on that person's name will get that person. So do you take the risk and wait for the person you want, and then somebody else takes it, or do you just grab the first one you see and can get your hands on? Be on the lookout throughout the episode tonight, as Susan will be posting those. So we're going to get into this today. We've got a lot to talk about and a lot to break down, but I want to start with just this premise of Survivor Brains versus Brawns versus Beauty. We've got our first guest that's going to help us break down some of these characters tonight. Quentin, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I don't have a microphone, so I feel like I'm not as well equipped as you, but I got my voice, so I guess I'm good to go.
Hey, your voice is good.
Andrew likes to show us all up on one, so.
Yeah, dude, I use my microphone for lots of things: podcasting, real estate. It all works one way or the other. But what did you think of tonight's premiere, Quentin?
I actually thought it was a really good premiere. I liked how they focused on some of the character work of some of the people, so we know a lot of the contestants. Everybody had at least one confessional, so we have a good idea on who everyone stands and who they're with. And I just thought it was pretty good overall. Normally they're heavy on strategy, but this was more focused on, kind of the character types and where everyone stands.
And they did that, but they did it in a different way than normal. We were about halfway through the episode, and my wife's like, they didn't do the intros. They didn't do the beginning part of the episode like they normally did, but they built that character in. Here's what I want to talk about before we get started into this character breakdown and we go cast member by cast member. This Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty. We've seen this done once before, and we see that when they get in these tribes, they have these stereotypes that they feel they need to live up to, the brain or the brawn or the beauty. And I saw that tonight kind of overplayed. Like I saw, I'm the brawn, so I'm very strong and I'm very muscular and I can do this, and I'm the brain and I'm very, very smart. And I saw that not only is like CBS putting them in this stereotype and Survivor and Jeff Probst putting them in this stereotype, but they almost put themselves in that stereotype. There were so many times you saw the NBA player, and I've got to keep looking at notes, Scott. You saw Scott straight up saying, hey, I am brawn, so I don't know the smarts. Hey, I'm this, so I don't know that. And you saw them kind of living to their own. Did you get that too, Susan, Quentin? I mean,
it did happen, but I did like, was it Alicia? She kind of came out of her stereotype and said, they're expecting me, a sweet little sorority girl, and I'm so not like that. So I did like that.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part, is how do you live up to that stereotype, and when do you ditch that stereotype, and when do you do those different things? And I'll be intrigued to be watching that as this season, because I do believe that a lot of these people aren't just a brain or just a brawn or just a beauty. I mean, come on, some of them aren't even beauties. Let's look at our gardener. Let's look at Ty. He's not even really a beauty. I don't know why he's on there.
I was just gonna bring him up.
We'll get to him, but let's do a cast by cast breakdown. We got Dennis on with us too. We'll bring him in on this first one. Let me pull up my list here. All right, let's start with the Beauty Tribe. Why not? So let's talk about Anna first off. Anna's 26. She's from Brooklyn, New York, and she's a pro poker player. And she is on our Brains Tribe. Is that right? This has got me. It's got her on the Beauty. No, she's on the Beauty Tribe. Yeah, Anna is on the Beauty Tribe. I don't know why this site has her marked as Brains also. Anna is on the Beauty Tribe. What's our first impressions of Anna?
Quentin and Dennis can take these first. We could let our guest speakers talk.
All right. My first impression of Anna is, being on the Beauty Tribe, I think it can go one of two ways. If she aligns with the girls, I think it can make her look more weak. But also being a pro poker, she's the pro poker player, correct?
Yes, she is the pro poker player.
I think that maybe aligning with both sides, because we barely got to see any of her gameplay thus far, because it's only been one episode. But being a pro poker player, I think she could go either way.
And this brings up the whole, we just saw a poker player do really, really good in Big Brother. Like, we saw Vanessa totally dominate that game. So I'm really excited to see that they have somebody playing in this Survivor aspect now. I mean, will we see her rise to Vanessa? Will we see the manipulation that we saw in Vanessa? Will we see those aspects? Quentin, what did you think of Anna tonight?
Before I saw the episode, I did like a cast analysis or whatever, and she was my preseason pick. I thought, you know what, Anna's got this because she's really got a lot of cards stacked in her favor right now. Yes, she's beautiful, and that's why they put her on the Beauty Tribe. But everybody on that cast has seen the Kagayan season, so everybody knows that the Beauty Tribe is the least threatening or whatever. So I feel like she can hide behind that stereotype that, yes, they're pretty, but they're not threatening like Spencer and Tony and Cass and all those people from the Brains and Brawns tribes. They'll be more focused on like Liz, who I think is just as smart as her, but she has that target on her. I think Anna can easily hide behind the shadows. She's a poker player. She's very smart. And I feel like she can definitely use her attributes to her advantage. I think she's really doing really well.
We'll talk about Liz later, because Liz is. We'll get to Liz. I really like Liz.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I really like Liz. Okay, so let's go on to our one and only. Speaking of Big Brother, Beast to the Mode Cowboy. Okay, so we see Beast Mode Cowboy in the very beginning. I love like the live chicken cuts loose, and he's like pushing some girl out of the way as he jumps off the boat and into the water here. And so that was always fun to see this immediate dive in that he has. But you have this Big Brother player, and he comes in, and he doesn't play it low key. He straight up tells people, you know what, I was in Big Brother. I was surprised it wasn't figured out earlier. Like, that was so quiet, and then it was like, and maybe that was just an editing aspect, but they didn't immediately see the Big Brother. So like you just said, Quentin, we see people that have seen the first season and all of this. I don't know if these people watch TV because they didn't even recognize
well, one of them recognized him right away.
Well, but then it must have been an editing flaw because it didn't come in till about like 45 minutes to an hour into the episode where she's like, I think that was Beast Mode Cowboy. I think he played on Big Brother. So we got some more. We got Michael here. What are our first impressions on how Beast Mode's playing this game?
Are you asking me right now?
Anybody, come on.
Oh, Beast Mode, I didn't really like him coming in because of just his demeanor from Big Brother. Like, I wanted to give him another chance because...
Well, you can't give him another chance if you're already talking about his demeanor from Big Brother. Like, I mean, you're not giving him another chance because you're already saying you don't like him.
But he's also proving himself differently in this game, so I can...
How so?
Because he's just awesome. You know, he built the fire, he did this and that, you know.
You know, how I think he has separated himself from Big Brother is he hasn't asked anybody out on a date yet.
Yeah, pretty much. Except Ty. That might happen.
No, we did see the scenes from the next episode. Him and Ty might get a little lucky as things continue on. Dennis, Quentin, what do you think about Beast Mode in this first episode?
All right, I guess. Oh. Whatever. You go first, Dennis.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Go to D. Go alphabetical.
Go for the D. I heard that, Quentin.
Well, that's my line.
Like as Michael was saying, he's gonna. I think everyone needs to give Caleb another shot because this is a totally different game. He could have a totally different strategy. We haven't got to see much of that though, which I think will be. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how he plays differently. As the girls, they realized that he was in that big alliance, so that showed that he could work in his favor or not in his favor. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, they once they figured out it was him, they did talk about that. He's loyal. We saw that he was loyal in Big Brother. We saw of that. You know, when I see Beast Mode Cowboy, I see him more as a Survivor player, as a Big Brother player. I think he was kind of cast backwards, so that was interesting. Go ahead, Quentin. What do you think about Beast Mode?
I was being very critical before I went into this episode. I thought, I saw Big Brother. Beast Mode was kind of a joke. He flirted with girls. He was creepy. He did weird kung fu action. I didn't really think he was a serious person. I thought he was meant for Big Brother because he's, I don't know, he just kind of acts like a joke, and I feel like the casting for Big Brother is more kind of like, ha ha ha, look at these people. And Survivor's more serious. But it does kind of show you the difference between the editing. On Big Brother, he looks like a joke, and on Survivor, they kind of edited him to look like this war veteran, kind of badass. He's fighting for his country. He's going to win this money for the military and stuff. Like, he said that he was going to donate some of it to the troops or whatever, and I don't know. I thought he was really enjoyable this season. I don't think he's going to win just because I don't think he can really hide who he is, and I feel like he's kind of full of himself and arrogant, and I feel like since he's already played a game, he's kind of thinking he's better than everyone. I don't know. I don't see him making it to the end and winning, but I'm definitely enjoying this version of Caleb compared to the Big Brother version.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to Julia here. Julia Sokolowski. Jaden's probably watching and annihilating my pronunciation.
Of course,
like,
I'm expecting a message from him right now.
Saying, hey, he totally butchered that last name. 19, Boston, Massachusetts. She's a communications major. She didn't get a lot of airtime tonight. She was kind of below the radar and everything. I see her really kind of a floater in this game, just kind of going with the motions. I almost want to, let's go ahead and do it. Let's match her up and talk to her. Her and Michelle. I mean, they both didn't get a whole lot of airtime. They talked more about this. They've got this little bond. They're bonding together. But I didn't see a whole lot. So what is our first impressions on Julia and Michelle so far?
I like Michelle. I'm not really fond of Julia. I don't know why.
It's because she's blonde. You hate blondes.
Yeah, you know what? That might be it. I like Courtney.
Everybody likes Courtney. That's my wife, for those of you that don't know. Anybody else? What did we think about Julia and Michelle tonight?
Julia and Michelle, they remind me from season 30, Worlds Apart. They remind me of Jen and Haley. Like that duo.
Yeah, I see that comparison.
I did a little cast analysis, and actually, for sure. And then I did a little cast analysis. Actually, the first episode, I don't really see that happening, just because, as you said, it looks like she might be a floater. She'll coast through the game, but we'll just have to see for sure how she'll play.
Absolutely. Awesome. Anybody else got anything to say about those two?
I actually thought both of them were enjoyable to watch. Julie's the first person that's younger than me on the show, so that was exciting. I'm 20 years old, so I finally know somebody younger than me on the show, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And Michelle was enjoyable to watch as well. I don't see them as much as Haley and Jen as I see them more as Christine and Sabrina from One World. I think Michelle's kind of like Sabrina. She's got a fight in her. She's kind of got some fun confessionals. She seems kind of strategic. And I see Chelsea more as like Julia is more as Chelsea, kind of like she's just nice. I don't really see her doing anything too deep, and I feel like both of them think that they could win at the end, but they're going to lose to Anna if they ever do work those three together. I feel like Anne's kind of like the strategist between the three. It would be kind of like the kingpin, and those two, in their minds, they could feel like they could beat her, but I feel like they'll just be, I don't know, going for the ride. I don't think either could win, but you can really not tell at this point, especially Michelle. I think she could change.
I could see one of them kind of becoming like a goat, to where they're dragged on and linked with somebody, and they are dragged to the end just because they would be an easy person to beat in the jury. I could see that definitely happening with either of those two players. Let's move on to Nick here, and I want to go back to what we said about Beast Mode Cowboy. When we get to Nick, everybody says, well, Nick is so full, or Beast Mode Cowboy is so full of himself, and Beast Mode Cowboy, that'll eventually come out. I think the best thing for Beast Mode Cowboy is he's on a tribe with Nick. Because Nick is so full of himself, and Nick is so out there. In every stereotype that Beast Mode is, Nick is like times 10. And so I think the best thing for Beast Mode is to just kind of stay behind that shadow of Nick. Because I did not like Nick at all, if you can't tell. If there's any thought process on that. I mean, he just was very stereotypical, very egotistic, very, the other people were like, yeah, I'm on the beauty tribe, and he's like, I'm beauty, and I know it. I mean, that's like how this was set up for him, and I just wasn't impressed. What is y'all's thoughts on the whole Nick conspiracy?
I mean, he really could. It's all about editing. I mean, obviously they're going to edit their players to match up whatever tribe they put him in. I mean, he could be not so arrogant. It just could be editing, but I'm going to go with he probably is that arrogant.
Michael, what do you think about Nick?
Same as you. I thought he was very arrogant, and I really do not think he's going to make it far. He's definitely one of the first. Well, if they lose, they probably will target him or tie, but that's if they go like fourth, and they know that a swap is coming where it doesn't matter. So
And we see in a lot of the tribes the guy-girl breakdown kind of happening. In this specific one, I don't think Beast Mode's going to vote out a girl because Beast Mode likes his eye candy. So I don't think you're going to see the guy-girl breakdown as much happen. So I do think that Beast Mode might try to target Nick, but I think that's the worst thing he could do. He needs Nick as his meat shield in this game. Dennis, Quentin, anything you want to say about Nick?
I don't get all the hate. I think he reminds me of Abby. I don't know. Like, I think I'm gonna love to hate him. I feel like he's gonna be like absolutely unbearable to watch on the show, but at the same time, I'm gonna like love him every minute. I feel like he's gonna be beautiful confessional wise. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be so excited. Like his first confessional. Come on, how great was that? Where he's like, "Oh, I'm beautiful," and I don't like to say that. I don't like that fact. It's just true, and that's how I'm gonna win. And I'm like, all right, this guy's hilarious.
Confessional-wise, but all his confessionals are going to be about is himself.
Good. All I want to hear is about himself. I'm just kidding. But no, actually, I actually really enjoyed listening to him. I feel like he's articulate. Like, he's pretty smart, and I feel like we can understand what he's saying to the viewers. I kind of see him being like LJ. Like, you'll have a few fun confessionals, and he'll be like a good like merge boot. I feel like I can't see him winning. I can't see him being a pre-merge because he's good at challenges and they need his strength. So I can see him kind of a happy medium. He's good eye candy. He'll make the merge and then he'll get out, kind of like LJ. I don't know.
I could see that. All right, Dennis, we'll get to you here on that here in a minute. Let's go ahead for time's sake and skip down to Ty, the guy that stole the episode, in my opinion. I mean, Ty is fantastic in every single situation that he could be. He is funny. He is on the beauty tribe for whatever reason. I mean, somebody thinks he's beautiful. And I mean, Susan was like having to fan herself every time he came on the TV show tonight.
It's his mind. It's a beautiful thing.
But I mean, he's cracking me up because he's like, "Oh, watch what you do with the tree. Don't hurt the tree. It's a living thing." And then like he's looking for the hidden immunity idol, ranking those things out of the garden, out of the ground, like it's nobody's business, and then putting it back down. "I'm so sorry. It was for me. It was for me." I don't want to talk about the idol yet. I want to talk about Ty specifically, and then we're going to do kind of like a tribe wrap-up, and then we're going to get into that idol situation. But what was our first impressions and thoughts on Ty?
I liked him right away, but you know me, I'm old. I always root for the older people. So I'm biased.
Right, and we have our old guy in Joe for you, too. We'll talk about Joe later. Anybody else want to chime in on Ty?
Nobody's
Sure,
interested.
I love Ty. I thought Ty was he's kind of like a Vietnamese Yao Man. He's just so exciting. Yeah. He's just so excited to be there. You can see the passion in like his eyes. Like every time he talks, he's like all excited and saying how happy he is to be here. And I don't know, like you can't.
He's got a lot of drive in him.
Exactly. Like I don't see anybody hating him because he's just so adorable. He's so small and cute, and he's just excited to be there. Like anybody with that much passion, like sure he's looking for idols and stuff, but like he's just that excited to be in the game. Like you can't blame the guy. I don't know. I love.
But can passion hurt you?
Oh, for sure. We've seen like how it hurts like Max and Ty. like yeah, being too passionate is definitely a negative, but you gotta love him.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go there. Let's talk about the idol. Let's talk about the tribe as a whole. How we think they'll be successful in challenge-wise, and let's talk about this idol hunt that happened tonight. Scale of 1 to 10, Dennis. How well do you think Beauty's going to compete in challenges?
I say about a 6.
Why?
Well, I think it's hard to tell first episode. But they seem very strong, but it seems like they could get overrun by the other 2 tribes. So that's why I have to rate them a 6.
Okay. Michael, 1 to 10, how are we going to do in tribes? The challenges.
I would also probably say a 5 or a 6. I feel like there's just some weaknesses. They're going to definitely get run down versus the other tribes.
Quentin, 1 to 6, or 1 to 10.
Honestly, I think they're the strongest tribe out of the 3, so I'll give them like an 8 or... Yeah, I'll just give them an 8. Like, I could definitely see possible challenge that they would lose at, but I feel like they're getting edited to go as a far unit together, so I could definitely see it being a while.
Yeah, and I agree. I would probably put them like a 7. They started really, really strong, and they killed that first physical part. Then they struggled getting. It wasn't so much that they were struggling like pushing the boat; they were struggling getting it on the dock. Like they were struggling getting it into that part. And then they didn't do bad in the puzzle. I mean, it came together in the end, so I'd give them a 7 too. All right, quickly because we've got 40 minutes and still 12 castaways and other stuff to get through. Let's talk the idol situation. So Ty goes looking for the hidden immunity idol, and he sends them on, and he goes looking back. Awesome. That's great. We see that every single season, right? Like, people look for the idol. It happens. That's not what I want to discuss. I want to discuss that when he gets caught looking for the idol, Ty's like, oh, yeah, I'm looking for it. Can you just give me 5 more minutes to look for it and go away? And then I'll keep looking, and then I'll be done looking for it. I want to know how bad is that going to impact Ty, and what should he have done to make that different and better?
I was actually happy with the way he played that. He was full out honest. I mean, he's an older person. He doesn't have time for the bullshitter. Maybe he just thought he was being funny by saying it. I thought it was great, him just being forward about it.
I loved the honesty. I didn't like when he said, okay, give me 5 more minutes. Like, that's
I mean,
when
but
I
he's
was...
telling you, just give it to, I mean, that's us old people. Give me 5 more minutes. We'll have it done.
Quentin, what do you think?
I like the honesty in it, because a lot of the recent seasons, you see that honesty is a lot more key. Like Mike Holloway and World Sports, like, all right, now go ahead and strategize. Or when Max was like talking about about how if he had the idol, he would be more secret about it, like the first tribal council. Castaways are a lot more open nowadays, just because everybody knows you're strategizing, everybody knows you're doing stuff. So him telling people that he was looking for the idol, that was good. If he was like, oh, I was just looking for sticks or whatever, we all knew he'd be full of crap. And I feel like he'd be in a worse situation if he did that. But his best scenario, of course, at the heat of the moment, he didn't do it. And this is like, like hindsight 2020. But he should have been like, oh, I was looking for the idol for us. I can't find it. Can you guys help me? Like let's do this together. Make this a team. Doing it together. But that was his best case scenario. Of course, like heat of the moment, who knows what he was thinking. I don't blame the guy, but yeah,
I don't think he thinks half the time. He's not on the Brains tribe, that's for sure. Anybody else want to chime in on the idol situation?
I think that the play, although you guys thought it was very articulate, planned out, or however you want to say it, I think it was probably one of the poorest moves I've seen with an idol, like trying to hide it from the tribe. He could have said so many things. He could have been like, oh, I've seen these trees, these healthy trees just laying down. I want to replant them. And then when your tribe confronts you, and he just said, give me 5 more minutes, that just shows that you're sneaky and you're conniving. So I wasn't too fond of that.
But what's wrong with that? I mean, that's part of the game. We're always going back to this, oh, they're sneaking, they're telling lies, doing this. Isn't that part of the outwit? I mean, maybe he's saying, doing this, maybe the other players are surprised, like, wow, he's open. I mean, maybe that's part of his whole outwit strategy. I'm just going to come in and say what I'm doing, and I'm not going to lie, and I'm going to be tough. I don't think it was a bad move.
It could just be based on perception, though. So
I agree with Dennis on this point, where, especially in Ty's case, Ty should have been going for the I'm an old, happy, like, he's such a nice, happy guy or whatever. Nobody expected that from him. So I feel like coming from him, that seems a lot more shady and sneaky, and they're like, oh, maybe he's not this, like, good old guy that we all thought he was. I feel like if maybe someone like Nick or Caleb did it, then it wouldn't be as, like, horrible. But I don't know, I feel like Nick, they didn't think, Ty didn't think Ty would do something like that. And can we talk about how he, like, where he was looking? He was digging under trees. Like, he was a huge fan. I didn't think, like, they wouldn't hide it underneath a little tree. Like, that was hilarious. I thought that was like...
it was a dead tree, Quentin. But again, I just love the fact of him getting mad at Caleb for, like, just chopping the chunk out of a tree, and then he, like, straight up, like, Hulk smash pulls it out of the ground. Okay, let's wrap this tribe up. I'm going to go to each of you one more time, and I want you to tell me who will be the first person voted out when this tribe goes to tribal, and who from this tribe has the best shot at winning the game. We'll start with Susan. Go.
Oh, don't ask me that question first. No, it takes me a long time to think.
Okay, go into Quentin. I'll go down my screen. We'll come back to Susan. Quentin, go.
All right, I think Anna has the best shot at winning, just because I think she's a strategist. I think she's likable. I think she's perfect, and most likely to go home first. I think they're showing it to be Ty, but I feel like he's here for a bit, so I'm gonna say maybe Caleb because he's played already, or maybe somebody invisible like the 19-year-old Julia.
Michael, go.
I would say Anna has the best shot of winning because, of she just has what it takes, and I would say Nick because he's just arrogant in my voice, whatever.
Dennis, go.
Tao or Ty for first out, and I would have to say Anna to win, of course.
Susan, do you have one yet, or are we just
You know what? Since everybody's saying Anna's going to win, I've noticed that the likable people are people who always want to go. So I'm going to say Anna's going to go first. And because he's an asshole, I think Nick will stick around. I think people will keep him around because he'd be an easier person to target because of the way he does talk. So I don't think they'd be getting rid of him anytime soon.
So who would be the first boot? Ty?
Anna.
Anna. Oh, so you think Anna would be the first boot? Wow, interesting. All right, let's go to the Brains tribe. And Jaden, as you noticed tonight, I'm just saying Brains, Bronze, Beauty because I know if I try to pronounce them, you'll throw me apart. So I'm just taking Brain, Bronze, Beauty. Let's start at the top here. I've got Little Miss Aubrey, who had our emotional breakdown tonight on the episode, and we got to go through these a little quicker. But Aubrey, what are our thoughts on Aubrey?
You can go ahead and answer first. I'm going to put this fantasy stuff up.
Yeah, go ahead. For Aubrey, she reminds me of like a Sophie Clark, who did very, very well and won the game. But to the extent of her breakdown tonight, I think, we saw her breakdown tonight. We saw her completely lose it. But, I mean, it's a culture shock for these people, and that does happen. They're humans. That happens. Dennis, you're off mute. What do you think about Aubrey?
Aubrey's little anxiety attack, I think, was a bit much, but I think that she might have proved herself to her tribe based off her performance in the challenge, so I think that might have helped her.
Anybody else?
I was going to say, going in, I thought she'd be kind of like Shireen, like a huge fan. She's kind of nerdy looking, kind of socially awkward. But she's like, that challenge, she killed it. Like, seriously, I've never thought she would have been a challenge beast like she was. She got all 4 paddles and she did the puzzle. She did the entire challenge. I was astounded. So she really impressed me there. I don't think she's going to go for a while. I thought she'd be weak in challenges and she might be one of the first boots. But no, she really shocked me tonight. I was impressed.
Yeah, no, me too, for sure. Okay, let's move on. Michael, you can get in on the next one here. Debbie. Weirdo, crazy, out there Debbie. What are our thoughts on Deb?
I kind of like Debbie. She's kind of like me, kind of crazy and out there, It's something weird about her. I think she will go maybe mid-jury. I don't think she's going to go as early. Yeah.
Mid-jury. I think she's the next boot. Anybody else want to chime in on Debbie?
No way. She's not first boot. I'm going to say this right now. If they're showing you being like the next one to go an episode before, that's not going to happen. Ty's not going next week, and neither is Debbie. Debbie is going to win if it's not Anna. I love Debbie. She's my life.
And the fact that you're saying that doesn't surprise me one bit.
She refers to herself as a female coach, and that's exactly how I see her. She's like so awkward, so out of it. She does all this crazy stuff. I love how underneath her name they change her job occupation every time she has a new confessional. It's so funny, like a running joke. I love Debbie. I think she is definitely making merch. I can see her going very far just because she's so freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's not happening. She's the next to go. Dennis, what do you think about Debbie?
I think she's very overrated, to be honest. I don't think she'll make it very far. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, now let's go on. Write it down. Andrew's pick to win this season, Elizabeth Markham.
And why is that?
Okay, the girl is smart. She is reading people from the beginning, but she's not saying it out loud. Like, her confessionals are very in-depth character analysis of these players. She's really breaking them down. She excelled very, very well when she needed to in the challenge. She helped put that puzzle together. I think she's making the right connections, but not overplaying the game. Dark horse, write it down right now. Elizabeth Markham wins this game.
No.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing either with it.
Why, Quentin? What's wrong with Elizabeth?
I feel like she is very smart. The only problem is I see her. I don't know. Is it just me? Doesn't she kind of remind you of RC? I can totally see in her be like the first girl to merge. She's very smart and intellect. She has a high-end job just like RC. The only difference is she's on the Brains tribe, so everyone knows she's super smart, and Anna's on the Beauty tribe, and they don't know that. So I can tell Anna's gonna win. I can't see Elizabeth is going far. I think she'll be like the first boot at the merge, but
Oh, no way. She's jury for sure if not winning this game. She is sitting at that final tribal council. Like, I'm bringing Quentin, write it down, put it on our guest list for the finale, Quentin on there, Susan, so I can point in his face that Elizabeth has won and he is wrong. She's the one to beat. Anybody else want to chime in on
If
who's...
she goes like you say, Quentin will make him apologize to you on the page that you were right.
Here, I have something else to say. I actually thought the Brains would lose this first challenge, and I thought she was going to be the first boot because everyone knew she was super smart. So I thought that you put her as the winner. I put her as first boot when I was first ranking.
Quentin, Debbie is the first boot. It's happening. Dennis, what do you think about Elizabeth?
I don't have any opinion on her because she got little to no airtime. I'm just saying.
Oh, Michael, is anybody going to back me up on this Elizabeth train?
Wait, let's do something here, Andrew, all right? Let's have like a bet. I bet Debbie's going to beat Elizabeth.
Oh, for sure.
I think Liz could do very well. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah, I can't hear Andrew.
Are you good, Andrew?
Andrew, you're muted.
Yeah.
Oh, he left.
But sometimes he has to come in and out. He lives in Texas. They have poor internet there, too.
Well,
But you can go ahead and finish talking, Michael.
you what?
Andrew will re-listen to the episode. He loves hearing himself.
Oh, really?
Me too. I'll listen.
And here he is.
Hands and I hit the mic cord out of the computer. So I missed everything Quinn said because you got me so worked up over this. And what did you say? Let's talk about Elizabeth. Come back to me.
I was saying that we should put in a bet. I bet you Debbie's going to beat Elizabeth because, yeah.
Not
Yeah.
happening.
Not happening.
Not happening. If you win that bet, I will do an entire podcast episode shirtless.
You know what? If you win, I'll do the next one I show up to shirtless. There you go.
Perfect.
I want
There we
Andrew
go.
to
So we
win.
have a shirtless bet. All right.
I'd much rather see
I want
Quentin shirtless than Andrew. No offense, Andrew.
I want Michael's opinion on Elizabeth.
Again, I think she could do very well. I think if the Brains don't lose, I think she'll be good. I think they're a really strong tribe. So I really do think that she could float maybe to the merge, maybe.
Not gonna float. Y'all are crazy.
But here's the deal. I think that she will show her true colors at the merge, is my point.
That's okay. I have another dark horse, and it's on the same tribe, so we'll get to that person here in a minute. Let's get on to Joe. What's our thoughts on Joe? Joe's going to be an early boot. He's not going to succeed in the challenges. That's my opinion. He's either him or Debbie are going first, and then the other one's going second. That's what I think.
I don't think so at all. I think Joe is actually one of the strongest, oldest male contestants the show has seen.
Rudy.
I liked Rudy.
I did like Rudy, but I think Joe could be pretty close, but we'll just have to see. I think Neil will actually be the first boot.
That's
Yes.
my second dark horse. That's my second.
I think that was your second. Yeah, well, let's talk about Neil later. Yeah, I want to talk about Joe. But yeah, Joe's the second oldest contestant ever in the game, aside from Rudy. I think that's awesome. And the dude is Jack. I wish I was as muscular as that dude. Like, oh my gosh, it is. I agree with Dennis 100%. Everything Dennis would say, I'm like with this guy. Me and you, Matt, but no.
Susan wants Joe to lose the bet so he can come on shirtless.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I feel like Joe is totally, I don't know, either Neil's going to be first boot, or if it is everyone against Debbie, they might like split the vote and go after Joe instead. Debbie's not going home anytime soon. They're making it seem like that, but if they do target Debbie, Joe's going to feel the wrath of it. I don't know if Joe's going out early, but I don't know. I love Joe. I love that he's 72 years old. So we have like the oldest and like the youngest person in this cast. It's awesome.
Okay, so let's go ahead and bring it up because that's my second dark horse that you're already about to shoot down with an arrow. It's gang up on Andrew's favorites nights tonight. Neil! Neil's awesome. I mean, he comes on, he's talking, he's smart. First off, he does organic ice cream, and I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm like all in with Neil right now. But I mean, he was smart. I think he blended in. I think he's going to play a great social game. I think that even though he's just an entrepreneur, I think he has the best smarts for this game. Like, okay, let's look at it this way. So what? You're a neuroscientist. How is that going to help you in Survivor? Like how is that? This guy runs a business. That is social skills. You have to know how to fire people with a smile. You have to know how to keep your company running correctly. He has the PR. He has the social aspect. My second dark horse to win this game is Neil. Rip it apart. Go ahead.
I don't think his job or profession has anything to do with it. Look at Tina Weston, a stay-at-home mom. She was equally. It doesn't matter. I mean, I would
stay-at-home moms have the hardest job in the world.
I should win a Survivor.
Quentin, I know you're dying to get into Neil, so let's hear it.
First of all, I never said I didn't like Liz. I love Liz, and I would love if she won. I hate Neil, though.
I want all my Liz fans, I want you blowing up Quentin's inbox right now. Go.
I love Liz. Oh, my gosh. I just think Deb's going to beat her. But
so why don't you like Neil?
It's just, did you guys read his, like, bio and all that? Or, like, research all the people? It's, like, he's so full of himself. Each one's, like, a paragraph long. It's, like, name the 3 things you want to take with you, and he's saying, like, the most ridiculous stuff. Like, he's a super fan, clearly, but I don't know. Like, he kind of reminds me of, like, a more weird version of Spencer.
Fishback.
Yeah, like, he's kind of like, yeah, Fishback, Spencer, all those super fans, except he just seems more, I don't know, out of it. He seems quiet. He didn't have that many confessionals on, like, Fishback and Spencer on their first episodes. And normally they, like, get all excited about the super fan kind of character, but I feel like he's kind of just in the shadows because I don't think he's going to last long. So I honestly think he's a pre-merge. I can't see Neil making merge. I honestly can't.
Anybody else want to chime in on Neil? Awesome. Go ahead, Dennis. You got something?
Yeah. If you look at like how the Brain Tribe was kind of like communicating with each other, it didn't seem like Neil really engaged in the conversations. Like he didn't have many connections. So that's why I don't think he'll make it very far.
You know, the Brains Tribe didn't get a whole lot of airtime in general tonight, though. I mean, the whole thing was broken around the emotional breakdown. And so, I mean, yeah, I get that. I see that. But I don't see we really got to see the development of the Brains Tribe because of that. But let's move on. Let's move on to Barack Obama here because, I mean, the dude is identical spitting image. I mean, we've already voted him out of the White House, obviously, and he's stuck on Survivor. Peter, what are our thoughts on our Peter emergency room physician? I wrote down a quote from him. Where was it? I wrote it down. I don't remember what it was. I mean, from the very beginning, this is a very cocky tribe because he was very, very, very cocky from the beginning. What are our thoughts on Peter? Go ahead. Let me hear from some of y'all. I've talked a lot. Michael, you want to go?
He's going to be one of the people medically evacuated. I'm going to predict it right now.
The doctor's going to get medically evacuated.
I'm predicting
I love
it.
how the guy that looks like Barack Obama is also the guy that's in, works in the hospital. I thought that was kind of like, like Obamacare, and now we got this guy. It's like perfect. By the way, I got 2 people that messaged me because they're Liz fans, so shout out to the 2 of you that called me out. I love you guys. Love
Who
Liz.
was it? Name names. I want to know.
Michael was one of them, and then my BFF Calvin. I love that guy.
Oh yeah, Calvin's been messaging us all. I adore Calvin.
Except he took my winner pick.
Hey,
right.
we said I'm getting messages from people right now mad at how we're doing fantasy. We said earlier before the show started, this is how we were doing it.
Anybody else want to talk in on Peter?
He's not my favorite. I don't think he'll last long. I think he'll be one of the first boots.
Cool. All right, let's go through the same thing. You got to vote somebody out first. You got to pick who's winning from this tribe. We started at the end, so let's go Michael first this time.
I would vote out Joe first, and I think either Aubrey or Debbie might win.
Oh, go away. Dennis.
Neil out first and Aubrey to win.
Quentin.
Well, I think it's either going to be Joe or Neil that's out first, and Debbie is going to make it farthest.
All right, obviously I'm going to say Debbie's out first and Elizabeth wins this game. Susan?
I say Joe is out first, and Neil's going to win. His cockiness is going to get him far, and he's going to pull a fast one, and he's going to be our winner in the end.
All right, let's get over to this Braun tribe, who was, I mean, this is like the most dysfunctional family I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Let's start with our bodybuilder. Let's start with Sydney. Built girl, awesome girl. I think that her emotions and her mouth are going to get the best of her this season. Like, Sydney knew how she was going to vote. Why did she speak up at Tribal Council? Why are you putting that target on your back? Why are you, like, I think that it was like open mouth, insert foot. I think that her mouth is going to get the best of her this season. I'm not a fan. I don't like her. I don't think she's going to do well. I think she's an early boot.
I agree to that.
Sydney let me down. Like, where's Storm? In her like pregame, she kept talking about how she has like multiple personalities and names them different names, and I was like, I wanted like a confessional about Storm and stuff like that. Oh man, she let me down. But no, I'm excited. Yeah, she's totally gonna blow up, do something crazy. Storm's gonna come out in episode 2 or 3, and she's gonna be voted off. Yeah, she's not here for the long haul, pre-merge for sure. But oh man, disappointed.
Sydney, oh my gosh, I love Sydney. I like how Sydney like comes off. Like, she doesn't care what she says. She doesn't care what people think of her. I think she's going to be great for airtime.
But is that good gameplay?
No, but I'm talking personally. I love Sydney.
So she's like your Abby Maria. Like, you love to hate her.
Ew, I don't like Abby Maria.
Oh, don't get Quentin going on Abby
Maybe I shouldn't be
Maria.
rooting for Sydney because that's how I feel in games.
I love that.
Okay.
All right, let's move on because we're running. We got 15 minutes and we still got a lot of crap to cover, and I've got some announcements at the end. Let's talk about Parasite Jen. Okay, so like I really like Jen. Like I think she's awesome, but the bug thing creeped me out. Like, I literally almost had to turn on the TV. Like, that was like, at first I'm like, this girl is over exaggerating. Like, this girl, there's not even a bug in her ear. Like, I think it's probably just some earwax. And then you see that thing like climbing and scriming in her ear, and first off, she's freaking out, and the bug's like this big. So I mean, I think that would be painful. I think that would be excruciating. But then the bug's gone, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm a whole different person." Like, she had more multiple personalities than Sydney did. So I don't know. What are our thoughts on Jen?
I don't have many thoughts on her. I don't see her being here long. She's not a personality I like.
Oh, see, I think she's here for long, and I think that showed in the bug incident. Because people, when she had the bug, they were like, oh my God, we're going to lose her, and that's a bad thing. And so it really showed in their mind that she's very valued in that tribe.
I think unless she gets like medically evacuated, like maybe they hinted at that with the bug thing, but if she doesn't, I can totally see her making merge and going really far compared to the rest of the Brawns people. She seems she's intelligent enough, and she's physically strong. And yeah, that bug thing was gross. At first I was like, oh, never mind, that's not a big bug. I wasn't that grossed out. But then I thought about it, I was like, since it was that small, it means it was really in the ear there, and that's like, you could totally, it was so vivid, it was so gross. Like, I remember I was with my cousin, she's never seen the show before, and she was babysitting us for a few weeks, and so this was her first episode ever. When she saw the bug thing, she was freaking out. She's like, people do this on the show? They get bugs in the ear? She was like horrified. It was horrible.
Dennis, I see you have something to say. You came off mute. What you got?
I think Jennifer is the strongest female on the Brawns tribe, like physically, mentally, emotionally. I think she's predicted as my third placer, and I think she can go very far in this game.
Michael, anything you want to say on Jennifer?
Oh, I think she's going to be one of the 2 or 3 medical evacuated people, I think. Oof.
I feel like you've said that about almost everybody.
I've only said
okay.
that about one other person.
Let's go to Scott. NBA player, big man. I'm lagging really, really bad. Okay, let's go to Scott. Scott is big. I called him the Jolly Green Giant, but like I don't like when he basically is like looking at Alicia and saying you screwed yourself. Like I think he's gonna come off so authoritative that it's gonna bite him in the butt. Dennis, go ahead.
Scott's one of those male figures that think they're running the show when they literally are not going to be even remotely close to it. He reminds me kind of like Tony, but like he's not that good of a game player at all. He's like totally opposite of Tony, but like I think as a person maybe, and his laugh is like so scary.
Yeah, it's bad. Quentin, you want to say something about him?
All I gotta really say about Scott is I'm excited that we have an athlete that's actually playing the game. Like you gotta give it to him. Yes, he's not playing it right. He's doing a few things wrong, but like he's got the alliances. He's putting his neck out there. He seems to be in a really good spot right now, and he is a giant physical threat. And he's a professional athlete. So there's so many things against him, and he is doing really well right now. So I got to give it to him. I thought he did really well tonight, and I'm proud of him. I actually thought he came off really well.
Michael?
He's either 5th, 6th, or 7th out. I just don't know about him.
I think he'll beat out Cliff for sure, though.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Okay, so let's talk about now, before we get to the bottom two that were this week, who y'all probably all three will love because he is my least favorite person in this game, Kyle. I cannot stand him. I think that he is obnoxious. I think that he is too much. I'm not a Kyle fan. I don't like him. Do I think he'll do well? I think honestly, I think him and Scott are going to team up and kind of rock, which surprised me when Scott and him voted two different ways. Like, I thought when it was the 2-2 vote, I thought it was the two guys and the two girls. And the fact that was switched really surprised me tonight. But I do not like Kyle. What are thoughts?
Yeah. I don't have no thoughts on him. A lot of the players this year, I'm just kind of, I don't know, the first round just always seems so much. I like going in after a couple episodes and seeing where they're at that point.
Gaby, I'm with you on that one. We finally agree on something. I don't like him. He's too game body. I like it when people show emotion, when people are more like compassionate about the game, more showing themselves. Ty, he's so much like himself. He's so genuine. I felt like Kyle was more game bot. Like he was very like, I gotta do strategy, you gotta do this, make alliances. I'm gonna play everybody. He reminded me like Russell Hands. In his bio, he said that he's the only guy that's ever played the game properly, and I was like, 31 seasons, the guy's never won. I don't think he's the only guy that's played properly. I don't know. I'd have to ask Sandra on that one. But I just feel like Kyle is very full of himself, feels like you have to lie to everybody, play this hardcore game. And I don't like his gameplay at all. He's all right. He's going to make it far, but I don't really like him.
Dennis, thoughts? Go ahead.
He'll be one of the first boots. It just showed at the Tribal Council that, like when him and Scott didn't vote the same way, and they didn't like whisper about it, that he only cares about himself. He's not looking out for who he's with, so he won't make it very far.
So we're all, Michael, are you in agreement here? Are all five of us agreed?
I think he's early, Jerry.
Oh, come on. There's always got to be the one. Okay, this is what I want to do. We're running out of time, and I want to get to these last two. We've got Alicia, and we've got Darnell. I don't think either of them, I do honestly think Alicia's going to wedge her way in here, and I think she's going to pick a side, and I think she's going to go a little farther. That's my opinion. Here's what I want to do. I want to go to each of you. I want you to tell me if you had to vote out right now one of Alicia or Darnell, which one would you have done, and then give me your quick thoughts on Alicia. Quentin, go.
I was surprised that they made that choice because I always think rationally. I thought Kyle would have thought rationally, and I thought they would have made the choice to keep Darnell because he's clearly going to be stronger in challenges, and it's clear through Alicia's own fault that she is strategizing. She thinks she's got the idol. She's making all these irrational moves. She's panicking, strategizing. She's clearly a bigger threat at the merge, and Darnell just seemed more chill. I loved Darnell. I called him King Darnell. I thought he was totally going to go far. I was really shocked by that.
When he took a shit in the ocean, I was sold.
I know. I was like, this guy needs to make the merge. I love this dude. But, yeah, I felt like they made the wrong move, and for their game and for the audience, because I thought Darnell would have been great.
Awesome. Dennis?
I'm going to have to agree with Quentin. I would have voted out Alicia too, but now that Darnell's got voted out, he's actually not from Chicago. He's from the suburb next to Chicago, which is right over the tracks for me. So I'm going to do some stalking over the next 2 weeks, and maybe we can see if we can get him on the show, because the high school he went to is really close, and I have friends there. So I'm going to see how well I could connect.
So we're going to try to get Darnell on the show. That's great. Dennis.
So if you don't see me, it's like I got arrested for stalking this guy.
Dennis, which one would you have voted out, and what are your quick thoughts on Alicia?
I would have voted out Alicia. I don't like how she just, like, when the people were calling her out for how she played, she kind of just stood there, fiddled around. She didn't defend herself. That's not how you play the game. You have to defend yourself to get farther in the game. So I'm not a big fan of her at all.
And Michael.
I would have voted for Alicia. I think she's going to be a bigger flipper than if Darnell would have stayed around. So.
Awesome. Okay, same thing. We're going to go right back through who's the next boot and who from this tribe could win it all. Quentin.
I was even thinking about this. I guess the one to win it all, the only one I can rationally see now is Jen. And then the next boot, I can totally see it being, Storm. I can't think of her normal name now.
Cindy.
Cindy. There you go. Yeah, okay, I knew that. I knew Storm was C.
Yeah. Alicia next out. And I love Jennifer. Rooting for her.
Michael.
I think Sydney or Alicia will be out next, and I don't think any of them have any shot at winning the game.
Yeah, that's the worst tribe of them all. Susan, are we done with fantasy? Is all of that figured out?
There's a few unpicked, but I'm sure they'll be picked by sometime tomorrow. I'll put up a document, and if there's anybody unpicked, we can fill it in.
Cool. So grab your fantasy players. Let's get in on that. We'll announce those in the next episode. I want to thank my 3 panels for tonight, Quentin, Michael, and Dennis, for being here with me. Briefly, what I want to say is that's kind of what we're looking for more this season, is more roundtable discussion panels. So if you want to be on a panel, message Susan. Susan's going to be booking those for the season. So if you want to be on one of the panels, we're looking for about 3 people each week to kind of get into that. I'll give you 3 a chance to say something before we leave. I just want to make a couple of more announcements really quick. This Friday, we will be doing at 10 o'clock our next Survivor Real Foot recap. This is the mid-season finale break. And I want to thank all of you. Our Real Foot numbers have been incredible. We've averaged 99...
Michael's actually one of our biggest fans of Real Foot. He follows us, and he's very upset about the mid-season, and he was so sad about episode 5 not being posted Monday.
We have averaged 99 listeners an episode on our Real Foot. Last season we recovered. Last Survivor was our first coverage, and we averaged about 75 viewers an episode. In Real Foot, we averaged 99 listeners. So thank you all for listening. Your next episode will be up this Friday night, and we will be doing the interview that Friday night. The next thing we want to talk about with Reality Rules is we're going to be doing something completely new, which is kind of what mine and Susan's vision was when we started this podcast, is we want to do all things reality. You're seeing us cover live games. You're seeing us cover televised games, but the one thing we're really missing is the one thing we do the most, and that's orgs. So we are going to start on Sunday nights at 11 o'clock. We are going to do an org weekly wrap-up. I'm going to try to get a panel of 2 to 3 people in every single week, and we're going to cover who won, who was voted out this week, what happened in some of the hottest and best orgs. So here's what I need.
We'll talk about the org awards this Sunday.
Yes, this Sunday we're going to break down the org awards, and we're going to talk about the iSurvivor winner. We're going to talk about all kinds of things that happened. This was a very busy week. I feel like there's been 4 winners posted in the winner's circle this week. So this is what I need.
Congratulations on Will and DeJuan. They both won their first games this week.
We'll get into that Sunday. Maybe we can get one of them on Sunday. That would be great. But we need people that want to panel with us for the org episode. So if you want to panel with us, message Susan. We're going to do that every week, Sunday at 11. And we need any hosts that want us to specifically cover or talk to people evicted from their games or winners of their games. Message Susan. Susan's going to work on booking those things. and getting that stuff done. So anybody that wants to be on those panels and anybody wants to do those things. So we've got Reality Rules, Real Foot Recap Friday. We've got the Org Weekly Rack-Up on Sunday. We'll be back here next Wednesday to do Survivor. So there's a lot going on, a lot happening. I'm loving The Amazing Race after episode 1. I really want to get back into some recaps on that, and we're about to get into live shows on American Idol. So lots going on here. So tune in for those things. Talk to us on Facebook. I want to give each of our panelists just one more shot at wrapping it up. Quentin, any final words about today's episode or this season of Survivor?
I guess I'm going to have to come more often just so I can see you lose when Debbie beats Elizabeth.
It's not going to happen.
And you're coming shirtless. Remember that.
or if I lose, I'll have to come shirtless. So, you might see me once or twice more. We'll see.
Awesome. Thanks for being here tonight, Quentin. Dennis, any wrap-ups?
This is going to be a very interesting season. I'm excited to see how it plays out. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Hopefully you can come back. Message Susan. We'll get you back on the rotation. Michael, last comments, thoughts, concerns?
Yeah, I would suggest not eating during these episodes. It might get a little bit, disgusting.
I think Michael's looked at some spoilers. I just have this feeling that Michael's done a little spoiler reading.
I probably have a little bit. I probably have.
You didn't say any, hopefully.
No, I didn't say. I'm not going to say none. No, I won't say any.
Awesome. And Susan, do you have anything you want to wrap up with tonight? Any more bookkeeping or housekeeping things I missed?
No, everything's good to go. I'm looking forward to Sunday's Org Awards. I am going to message the two hosting it and see if they have anything to say about anything else.
Yeah, and so Sunday we're going to break down the Org Awards. I want to talk about iSurvivor. I want to talk about House Divided, and I want to talk about Dewan won. Which one did he win? Oh,
he won KJ's Alias. How to Get Away with
No, he beat KJ.
It
was Ryan Barker's Light versus Dark.
There you go.
Yeah, so maybe we can get one of them on. We're going to break those games down. We're going to talk all about that. So tune in Friday for Real Foot. Tune in Sunday for our recap. Thank you all for listening tonight. And as always, stay real, stay reality, and try not to get voted out.